Okay, my screen shows 10:06 a.m., so I will call to order teleconference meeting of the Building and Operating Committee on Thursday, 26th August, 2021. Before we begin, note that this meeting is being recorded. Roll please, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Starting with Director Cochran.
Here.
Present. Director Fredericks. Hasn't rejoined us. Director Hernandez. Not there. Director Maston.
Here.
Thank you. Director Rabbit.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Garbarino.
Here.
Chair Theriault.
Right here.
Thank you. And President Parr.
Present.
Thank you. You have a quorum. Also on the line, we have Directors Grosboll. Oh, hang on one second. We have Director Fredericks. Did you just join us?
Yes.
Thank you. You have now become a committee of the whole. You have a quorum, and you also have on the line Directors Grosboll, Hill, and Snyder. I'm going to confirm staff.
Okay.
Really quickly, Dennis Mulligan.
Present.
Joe Wyatt.
Yes.
Joe Wyatt. Thank you. Ava Bauer-Furbish.
Present.
Thank you. Madeline Chun.
Here.
Thank you. Steve Miller. Not on the line. Mona Babauta. Also not here. Jim Swindler. Not on the line. We have Kelly Hopper.
Good morning.
Thank you. And that confirms the staff on the line.
Thank you again. Here follows the standard announcement. Please, everyone, mute your phones until after staff's presentation, and remember to unmute when we open up for director's discussion. After staff's presentation, I'll ask for any comments and/or questions on the item. If there are questions, the secretary or I will call on you accordingly. After the discussion, we'll ask for any public comment before moving on. Please follow along by referring to the page numbers located on the bottom right-hand corner of your meeting packet. We'll start with agenda item number 3, to approve actions relative to the award of professional services agreement number 2021-F018, Larkspur Ferry Terminal Berth and Channel Maintenance, Dredging Design, Pile Design, and Permit Support Services to Anchor QEA LLC. Staff report begins on page 3, and we have Chief Engineer Ava Bauer-Furbish on the line to present the report. Ms. Bauer-Furbish, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The district's ferry division operates a ferry route between the Larkspur and San Francisco ferry terminals. The Larkspur ferry terminal's 4-berth turning basin and the 2-mile-long navigation channel require periodic dredging to remove build-up sedimentation. This is necessary to maintain safe operating depth and width of the waterway. This waterway was last dredged in November 2015. In addition, the ferry division is investigating the feasibility of developing an alternative location to berth its vessels near the San Quentin prison. This investigation will include determination whether dredging will be required at that location. The agenda item number 3 report presents staff recommendations for the committee and board's approval of an award of professional services agreement with Anchor QEA of San Francisco to provide design, environmental clearance documents, and permitting support services for the following work: maintenance dredging of the 4 Larkspur Ferry Terminal berth, the turning basin, and the 2-mile-long navigation channel between the terminal and the San Francisco Bay, inspection and design of repairs of the existing navigation piles, the installation of 2 additional tie-up piles to be placed in the berth to allow for more efficient overnight vessel berthing options. And finally, an investigation whether dredging of an inlet to the north of the navigation channel near the San Quentin prison will be necessary. In response to the request for statement of qualification and proposal published by the district, The Office of the District Secretary received qualification statements and proposals from 3 consulting firms. The District Selection Committee reviewed, evaluated, and ranked the proposer's statements of qualifications and interviews, and determined that Anchor QEA was the top-ranked proposer. Staff negotiated a total not to exceed price of $632,000 for these services with Anchor. Staff has determined that this not to exceed price is fair and reasonable based on the scope of services requested by the district and historic cost data of similar services provided by consultants on previous dredging design contracts. A small business enterprise contract-specific goal of 2.5% was established for this professional services agreement. The district's DBE program administrator determined that Anchor QEA has met the SBE goal requirements and is responsive to the district's DBE SBE requirements for this contract. At this time, approximately 59.5% SBE participation is anticipated, and this includes 10% DBE participation. Staff recommends that the Building and Operating Committee recommend to the Board of Directors an award of Professional Services Agreement number 2021-F018, Larkspur Ferry Terminal Berth and Channel Dredging and Pile Design and Permit Support Services to Anchor QEA, LLC, for a not-to-exceed price of $632,000. Due to the uncertain nature of regulatory requirements that may be set by permitting agencies for the work, staff recommends establishment of 15% contingency in amount of $95,000 for this professional services agreement. This is for any additional scope that may develop while work progresses. The consultant will be compensated based upon actual time expended and expenses incurred, plus a fixed fee within the authorized not to exceed amount. Sufficient funds are available in the current fiscal year project's budget to finance the proposed professional services agreement and its contingency. And with this, I'm available to answer any question the committee may have for me.
Thank you, Ms. Bauer-Furbush. Do any of the directors have any questions or comments for Ms. Bauer-Furbush?
This is Barb.
Please go ahead.
Barb. I don't really have a question. I just have a little bit of levity to add since we've been on the phone for so many months. I think that engineering terms are speaking in tongues. The word bathymetry, they couldn't just use topographical mapping. They had to use another word. And then I thought it was funny that when the consultant scope of services, they have a dredge materials management office. Who would have thought that you'd ever need a management office for dredge materials? Anyway, that's just my little piece of levity on the engineering report. Thank you, Ava. It's always complete and well done.
Thank you very much, President Park.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Bathymetry sent me to the dictionary. I did not find it there, and I had to go online, actually, to find the definition. So, yeah,
it's fine.
Any other directors with questions or comments? I have a couple then. The little inlet by San Quentin, if it's where I'm thinking of, has prison grounds on 3 sides and the bay on the south side. Access to and from our vessels then would be by some sort of small craft, I assume, not by land. But also I wonder if when winds turn around during the winter and we get a chop out of the south, if that location becomes untenable under those circumstances.
If you want, Ava, this is Dennis. I could answer those questions since
Sure,
I've been on the
certainly.
prison grounds.
Yeah, please.
Yes, your depiction is correct that it has land on three sides. It's an inlet that has water access on the other side. We've had conversations with California Corrections about getting a lease from them, and it's still in discussion. But it would be water access by a small Boston whaler from our site. It's very nearby. It would give us an additional labor. And if we were to cement this deal, it would help us with future ferry growth. It would allow us to ultimately dry piles and have a barge there, which we would only access from the water, and that we would have power coming from shore underwater to the barge, so we could do park boats there at night and use it for moving boats back and forth. And it does not get foul weather when there's a south storm, so it is quite protected. It's a small little inlet space that we think would be ideal. And so we've had a series of discussions with the correctional folks at San Quentin about exploring that site. And so that's why Ava included it in the scope of work in case we're able to consummate a deal with corrections.
Very good, thank you. Following that, do any other directors have comments or questions? Then, Madam Secretary, please take us to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who wants to speak on this matter?
We have no speakers on this item.
Okay, then we're in line for a motion. Do I have a motion? Agenda item 2?
I'll move the item.
Thank you. And is there a second?
Second.
And there is a second. Madam Secretary, you have those, I assume. Please do a roll call vote.
Thank you. We're voting on item number 3 with a first from Director Cochran and a second from Director Mastin. Thank you very much. Starting with Director Arnold. Absent. Director Conroy. Absent. Director Fredericks.
Yes.
Yes. Director Garbarino.
Yes.
Director Grosboll.
Yes.
Director Hernandez.
Aye.
Director Hill.
Yes.
Director Mastin.
Aye.
Director Melgar. Absent. Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Aye. Director Rodoni. Absent. Director Snyder.
Aye.
Aye. Director Stephanie. Absent. Second Vice President Cochran.
Yes.
First Vice President Chiriot.
Yes.
Thank you. And President Barr.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Then going to item 4, which is status report from board appointees on the Sonoma Marin Area Rail Transit Board. Staff report with a link to the SMART website is on page 7 of your packet. President Parr, Director Garbarino, which of you would like to take a crack at this?
It's Director Garbarino.
Thank you, President.
Director Garbarino.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Mike. Thank you all. I have 2 items today. One is about the potential for freight on SMART's agenda, and the other is its 4th anniversary. So I'll start with the freight item. SMART's now currently reaching out to the private railroad sector to see if they're interested in providing freight service to our existing customers. Once their input is received, it will be released, or we will release an RFP and then ask them to officially submit a proposal. Our board is expected to review that analysis of their survey in the fall/winter and select the best method for providing freight service, either in-house with SMART staff or we'll be contracting out with a private railroad sector. Are there any questions on that item? With that, I'll move on to good news as well. Yesterday marked SMART's 4th year of providing passenger service to the North Bay community. Service started on August 25th, 2017, a short time before the Tubbs fire in early October, you'll all remember, which started, I believe, on the 9th of October, 2017. Since then, SMART and the entire community have faced a number of challenges. It almost sounds biblical. Fires, floods, and a global pandemic. SMART carried 2,045,000 passengers, 218,000 bicycles, and 7,889 individuals in wheelchairs. Through many challenges, SMART had continued to demonstrate its strength and resolve and its commitment to providing great service. It's a great public transportation. To quote Farhad, and I'll continue on with his quote, "It's the best public transportation service in America," and I'm sure he's including in that our bus and ferry divisions. I'll go on in honor of Farhad and quote him to finish this item. "Every day when we show up to work, we give something of ourselves to our passengers and to our community, making the North Bay a much better place to live because of SMART. Looking back at what we've achieved together, despite many personal challenges and agency challenges, we've accomplished 4 remarkable years of passenger service. Congratulations, I'm very proud to be a part of this amazing SMART story. Best regards to you and your families." And I'm sure, again, that this is echoed by the service that we provide our customers with ferry and bridge and buses. And that's my report.
Thank you, Director Garbarino. One of my bicycles has been included twice in your count. Do any of the directors have questions for Director Garbarino?
This is Bert. I have a question.
Please go ahead, Director Hill.
Oh, thank you. This is not directly to the SMART itself or the bridge board or the bridge itself. I have difficulty with wayfinding between the ferry terminal and the SMART station. There's no wayfinding that helps, for instance, disabled people, wayfinding tourists, people who don't know it. I'm sure the people who do have a way of getting there, and I know a shortcut getting there, climbing up a pretty steep little hill to get there, but it would really help if there was a more clear wayfinding between the two transit systems, because it's a pretty short time. And in the last case I had where the ferry was running a little bit late, it was a jog and a run for about 5 or 6 of us to try to reach the train in time. So if we could work on that a little bit, I think we'd have a much better transfer because the overlap is good as everything's on time. But we really need to have people who arrive there have a line that takes them directly to it, because you kind of wander through the the little shopping area there to see it. You're looking at where it is on the train on the hill. So just a comment about that. Thanks.
I've never used that app. They actually call me roadkill on the superhighway here at work, so I can find that out and get back to you, or perhaps Dennis, you might have some suggestions. You can kind of see that on the ferry, so.
Director Hill raises a good point. It's something we've worked on, this is Dennis, with SMART staff several times. There's a host of different public and private entities that have jurisdiction. Ideally, you'd have little trains and boats painted on the ground that you just follow. But it deals with Caltrans, the city of Larkspur, the Marin Country Mart, potentially a theater property, as well as SMART in the Bridge District. And so we have struggles. We had put up recently, again, sandwich boards because we restarted the Sail and Rail promotional campaign. And the sandwich boards kind of direct folks on a path of travel. But longer term, we'll need a lot of parties to agree. But we think that the best way is to basically stencil on the sidewalk the path of travel with the 2 logos so people know where to go. But that's a longer term project just because it involves jurisdictions and property that we don't control.
Thank you. Any other questions for Director Garbarino? President Parr, did you have anything you wanted to add to her report?
I didn't. I was just going to make a comment about the wayfinding, but I think that Dennis covered it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Director Rabbitt, you also serve on this board. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think it's. I appreciate the report. 4 years with the everything that's happened to all of us within those 4 years is it's pretty amazing, and a salute really to the employees of SMART for being at that the job each and every day. So very appreciative of them. To Dennis's point, we've also interacted with a lot of constituents regarding the wayfinding issues, and look forward to those stencils getting on the ground as soon as possible through all those little more complicated agreements that the different property owners all want. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Rabbit. That would conclude, if no other directors have questions or comments, discussion on our part on item 4. Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on it?
We have no other speakers on this item.
Then we can move along to item 5, which is the status report on engineering project, beginning on page 9. Ms. Ballard-Purbush, your turn again.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my written report is before you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have for me.
And do any of the directors have questions for Ms. Ballard-Purbush? Hearing none, this is another item with no action contemplated for it. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on it, Madam Secretary?
We have no speakers under this item or under public comment for B&O.
Then the next item of business would be adjournment. I have a motion for that.
So moved.
All right.
I'll second.
In a second. Assuming no one objects, that concludes the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee, and the time is 10:28 a.m. Thank you very much.